Here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock all my doors. It's the only way to live in cars. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley and Richter from deep in our underground lair coming at you live. And if we happen to fall asleep during this one, it's because we're watching the replay of last night's presidential address to Congress. So just be forewarned.
Yeah, all 20 that were there.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything weirder in my life.
Really?
I mean, seriously, first off, for the president of the United States to be fully vaccinated and walk around with 2 masks on is funny enough.
Right.
Okay. But to address a quarter of Congress.
Science!
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just one of those nights where you're used to I guess this wasn't a State of the Union, it was a joint session of Congress.
Yeah.
But you're used to I don't want to say the pageantry, but I think of the last one President Trump did, where the soldier came, they surprised his wife and kids by coming back. Remember right when Rush Limbaugh got his
yep.
And I think of that. Mm-hmm. Then I look at what President Biden did.
I think, didn't he get lost in between the when he entered the top of the chambers? By the time he got down to the bottom, couldn't walk the straight line down. Took a left turn at Albuquerque and ended up
fork in the road. Yeah. Get to a fork in the road, take it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really see much of it. I don't.
No, I didn't either.
He's boring and unexciting to me, so it's just. Yeah, I know I'm not going to learn anything new or hear anything I want to hear.
Right.
So it's just kind of like,
Tim Scott did a good job afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't catch much of him either, but he definitely got the left upset on social media.
I like that.
And I think it's really, although I consider myself the head of the cynical party, I think it's really crazy when you look at somebody and think because of their color of their skin, they have to think a certain way. Mm-hmm. And I really think that in of itself is racist thinking. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
putting people in categories, putting people in groups, putting people in boxes is despicable conduct.
No single group is a monolith.
Well, I mean, it's like saying, you're Jewish, so you're this. You're one of them. You're poor, so it's what is it with taking people and putting them into groups based on their income, their color, these are all from the same people who talk about tolerance and
yes.
And all that, and yet they are the most intolerant people you'll ever meet.
Yeah,
I mean, I got to stay off. I got to stay off social media on nights like that. I tried, like I said, I gave up Facebook for a month around election time.
Right.
I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, when the group that is continually crying racist can turn around and call him Uncle Tim, I'm sorry.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Jeez, I mean.
Terrible.
I don't know. It's just
terrible.
Disgusting. I mean, well, and also, if he didn't rankle people. Here's how you can tell people are rankled. When they don't take issue with the issues you brought up. Nobody talked about any of the ideas he had or counters to the president. No, it was all about him being black and him not voting the way a majority of blacks do. Let's just call it what
I
it
mean,
is.
that's changing too.
It is, and I think it's going to change more.
I do too.
So, I think that is changing. I think you're going to see a lot of minorities, and we already are. Go to Florida and Texas, and a lot of Hispanics who really like having no income tax. They really like school choice. Many Hispanics are Catholic, and many of them are more conservative on some of the family kind of issues or whatever you want to call them. I think that is changing. I think it depends where you go. I think generally speaking, in fact, it even bothers me to say the Hispanic vote, the black vote. It's like, again, what are they all, robots? Mm-hmm. They're people. It's
Exactly.
like, I mean, why do we look? Both sides do it too. I mean, you'll go into in the worst thing is going into any Republican thing and listening to them talk about outreach to minorities, because what they really mean are Republicans acting like Democrats.
Yes.
That's what they mean. They don't say it that way, but they say, they have to out pander the people on the left. I'm so glad to be on an island where I am. It's freeing. Seriously, it's freeing.
Yes.
So anyhow, Jay, I don't know. I know the song. I don't know who sings it. I do know the song.
Yeah.
I do know the Cars song, but I don't know who sings it. So enlighten us.
Originally, it was Gary Newman. It was redone by a band called Fear Factory later on in the 2000s.
I watched that show a couple times.
Yeah.
Fear Factory.
Yeah. They play.
Who's Gary Newman, by the way? Is that Paul's brother?
Or Gary Coleman's. I don't know.
Well, that would make sense if he was Coleman's
They're both
brother.
named Gary.
Oh, so the first name could be related to.
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't think of any other Garys on the top of my head. So
Yeah.
Gary Shandling.
Indiana.
Gary. The smelliest city on earth. Place smells like a continuous fart. It's worse than Detroit.
Junkiest Aldi I've ever seen in my life.
All I know is roll up the windows
Yeah.
if you go through Gary, Indiana. Otherwise, if you get a nice big gulp of stink. It's pretty. Yeah, it does. It's pretty awful. So okay, so Paul Newman there with the Cars song.
Yes, Paul Newman.
Originally sang that, and always remember the great words of Paul Newman. Money won is twice as sweet as money earned, and that's one of the greatest quotes of all time. Mm-hmm. Other than McFly, anybody home McFly? That's another one.
That's just about Shakespearean there.
That's pretty much. Where art thou, owl McFly, or whatever. we could turn that into. it. Okay. Anyway, Jay, let me just say this.
Yes.
We got something about Target going on downtown. Just to start off here.
Yes.
What's going on?
Oh, it's not downtown. It's the one that burned down in South Minneapolis.
Okay, South Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So got burned down during the. Yeah, I remember that. I remember seeing the place
Looted and burned.
I mean, horrible what happened there. Just horrible.
Yes.
And that's on you, Mayor Fry and Governor Walz. It's on both of you two bozos.
Yeah.
So what do they do? Are they mad about the looting and rioting? They must have good.
Think so.
They must have good insurance, because I don't think they're too upset.
They don't seem to be very upset. I mean, I would be if my house were burned down and looted. I think that I would be pretty upset about it.
I think I'd feel so invaded. Yeah.
Yes. Instead, they brought in a local artist or a group of local artists to create some murals. One of which
Intermural?
Yes, intermural. Yes, exactly. One of which depicts some buildings being burnt down.
Really?
Yes, we're getting this from Alpha News here.
So they're endorsing the arson that they
yeah. It's like, hey, come burn us down again. That was so much fun the first time.
So basically the title of this, and this is a very recent, this is April 29th, very recent. About 1 year ago, Target on it was on Lake Street.
Yeah.
Burned by BLM rioters. Now it displays a mural celebrating their actions.
Yes. That is exactly what it says. Noted the first paragraph. The Minneapolis Target store that was looted and burned down during last year's George Floyd riots now displays a mural that appears to celebrate arson.
What the hell are they thinking?
Yeah, that's a good question. They're just pandering is what they're doing, and we'll see that, I guess, later in the article.
What's up with companies doing that? I mean, I'm baffled as to, I'm one that doesn't like to see companies taking positions on things. I just, I think it's not their role to either way, it's not their role to push an agenda that is outside of their business. I can understand them taking a position on a tax cut or on regulation or a minimum wage.
Or maybe what we talk about later in the podcast today.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it goes to show how big our governments become, how all-encompassing they are, and how the mainstream media will praise you or torch you based on what you're doing. I mean that you want good press, boy. Endorse Antifa. And the media will just eat it up, and the left will sit there. But you do something the opposite, and you're going to get boycotted.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to get protested against. But I mean, why are these companies? I don't understand why these companies are caving. That's what I don't get. They could just do nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if you want to help black people, Target, why don't you give everybody a huge raise? You're doing more right there to help black people than you. Why don't you lower your prices? I'm just saying. Why give $20 million to Black Lives Matter? Oh, I know why, because of the tax write-off.
Right.
But I mean, why not, instead of doing that, why don't you give your black employees a raise?
$20 million. Maybe they're the ones that funded Patricia Cullors' various homes across the United States.
How do you knuckleheads who contributed money to that feel right now? I don't know that they gave $20 million.
Oh,
I'm just throwing something out there as to, why do that when you have black managers, black customers, black employees? You can directly help them now.
Yeah.
Any number of ways. Mm-hmm. And instead, you give some token money. What's a few $1 million to Target it?
Right.
They poop it out at night. What difference does it make? Why do that and then do nothing for the very people that are at your store, work at your store, manage at your store? I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, and here's what it goes on to say. One panel of the mural, which reads, "We Stand Together," shows 4 protesters standing triumphantly before a blaze. The figures in the piece symbolize protesters who could be any of us, said an artist who worked on the display, per a report from the Minneapolis Community and Technical College. No, it couldn't be any of us. It would not be me. I would not be standing before a burning building celebrating. That wouldn't be me.
Why would a burning building be something to celebrate?
Yes, I don't know. Here's where they get into the pandering, though. The same day Target announced its Minneapolis location would reopen, Bloomberg published an article explaining how the renovators to the store intended to appeal to renovations to the store were intended to appeal to black customers. Okay, I don't know how you do that. The retail giant
hold on.
Yeah.
Talk about racist.
Oh, it gets worse. The retail giant also pledged to reduce its brand's association with a primary customer demographic, suburban white women.
Oh, I see. So they're expendable. We're going to expend them at the...
Yes. Yeah. We don't care if they shop here anymore. That's what they're saying. We don't care if you shop here anymore, suburban white women. Go find another place to go shopping. You're suckers and you're going to come back anyways, but even if you don't, we'll get you when you go to Macy's.
Yeah. That's probably what they're thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
God, that's awful.
Yeah. So
now, what if they said? Let me just throw something out here. What if they said, we're not going to cater to black people. We're going to cater to white suburban women. What would the headline be?
Yeah, that's
then
just as wrong. Yes.
Right, but that would be
wrong.
It is wrong, but that would be considered racist.
Right.
Doing this is considered wonderful.
I mean, I don't understand what is black or white about large screen TVs.
Or groceries.
Prescriptions.
Yeah, yeah, what else? Some movies,
iPhone accessories,
video games. I mean, what? Yeah, I know. What's
long underwear?
Yeah, pants, shirts, belts, socks. What is? I mean, I work with black guys. They wear the same uniform at work I do. What is that? They eat lunch at the same places we all go.
Yeah.
What's a black food?
Right.
I don't understand it either. I'd like to see. You know what I'd like to see?
Yeah.
Here's where we could get some investigative journalism where we have none in this state. Let's see the layout of the pre-Target that burnt down, and let's see the new Target. I want to see what these changes are exactly.
Right.
Let's see what they are. Let's see what appeals.
What are they offering?
What do white
different?
suburban women hate at Target and black people love?
Right.
I couldn't even give you a multiple choice guess.
No, neither could I.
So it's all PR to the woke crowd.
Yeah, that's all it is. Virtue signaling.
They know nobody will look into this. They know 6 months from now, everybody will forget about it. The people don't like it. We pissed off, and you're right. 2 weeks late, Christmas time.
Yeah.
If Target has what little Johnny wants for Christmas, Target's where they'll get it.
Yep.
So, and who knows? I mean, you look at last Christmas time. It was one of the only few places you could go.
Yeah.
To get anything.
Yeah, and then if you're in a hurry and you need to pick up some ear
you can't
swabs,
get online.
some bananas, and a area rug, where else are you going to go?
There's not many places anymore. Yeah, it's really an oligopoly.
Yeah.
So,
oh goodness.
and I hate saying that about Minnesota-based companies because they're important. I mean, they're just important. But you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of them being in bed with government. I'm tired of getting the corporate talking points. I'm tired of I can't go to the grocery store without in-your-face political crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sick of it. And, don't you get the feeling, I know you're going to bring up the Great Reset and bring up all that stuff, and you're not wrong when you say it, but don't you see a backfire to this coming soon, or don't you?
Every time I put my trust in the public at large, I usually get burnt. I thought that the Georgia Senate elections, they won't screw this up. I mean, not to the point.
I wasn't surprised about that at all, but
I knew that there was a bunch of games being played and
but
things
elections
going on.
come and go. I mean,
you just watch society as a whole and the choices that they make, and that's where I think a lot of these, I stand amazed. It's like they can get pummeled by the same group of politicians for 10 years and they don't do anything to change it.
That's because
it doesn't matter how bad it gets.
But so many people are getting free stuff nowadays. So many people work for the government. So many people retire and live off the government. That I don't. That's my big thing of how it's going to turn around. The only way it's going to turn around is if less people are dependent on the government, less people work for the government, less people retire with a government pension, less people. I mean, you're not, because those folks have, with all due respect, they may think conservatively sometimes on some issues, but they have no incentive. There's no skin in the game.
Right.
And how many people aren't paying an income tax? How many, you know what I mean? There's so many people with no skin in the game.
Yeah, well, it's that. And, with this kind of thing, it's like, somebody may be irritated about it, and like you say, it goes away in a few months because they got to go get their
those people are busy.
Knickknacks.
They're working.
Yeah.
They got kids to run around. They've got bills to pay. They can't go protest all weekend.
Well,
no offense.
Unfortunately, it even gets to a point though where they don't. They don't
too much of it
stand up.
coming at you.
They don't stand up for anything just because they're too comfortable, and they like their comforts. They like having a one-stop shop. They like having a place where they can go and get their Starbucks at the same time they're picking out a new toilet brush.
Or back scratch.
Right. Either one, both.
Back scratchers are cool.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Haven't had one in a long time. It's all time my back itches. I have to rub against the or our closet door or something.
I know.
That's the only place I can
terrible.
get to it. My wife's never home if my back itches.
Right.
Okay. So.
But yeah, I see that as being the main problem is that people are just fine and they're willing to put up with all this because their comfort is more important. And at what point do people get so uncomfortable that it outweighs the convenience?
But it's sort of like what I'm saying about people who have no incentive to change the government.
Yeah.
They could, if they wanted to. They could get a job somewhere else. They could not sit there and wait for handouts. But it's too easy to do that.
Right.
The comfort level is there. They got their job. They know they can have it as long as they want. And they could go somewhere else. Maybe they could make more money, but I'll just take the security. People make those decisions every day.
Yeah.
So there's that going on too. That both sides are too comfortable.
Yes.
So and unfortunately, the rabble rousers who do it 24/7. See, that's another thing too. Is a lot of these folks do it 24/7. 24/7. They're on top of something. There's always a next thing, a next thing, a next thing. And you can't, I don't care how involved you are. You and I can't shoot at 100 targets at once. We can't.
No.
So it's heck. HECK.
Yes.
Heck. Whatever, however you spell it, doesn't matter. I just wanted to say double something.
Yes.
So it sucks. I mean, I'll tell you something else too. I mean, when we've talked about things like COVID and what's going on right now, where vaccinated people are still afraid to go out in the public.
Yeah.
And it's like, just where are our leaders? I mean, this is why I keep talking about Biden. I mean, come on, take your stupid mask the size of Wyoming off your ugly face and go out there and be a leader and say, you know what? Because what they're saying makes no sense. The vaccine's safe. Which I believe it does.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, why is a mask the size of Antarctica on your face? Why?
If we
you know what it is? It's the Democrats' MAGA hat. That's what the mask has become.
Absolutely.
You see somebody out walking their dog with a mask on, there's a Biden voter. I don't say nothing else. Guarantee. That's what it's become. It's become the MAGA label. It's their version of it with solidarity. It's like the environment. They're doing their part. They're recycling their used underwear, so they're saving trees or some BS, so they all feel good.
Right.
And that's what the mask has become. I mean, look at Texas. What's happened in Texas? Was Biden right? Was Haas right? Was that twerp Fauci? And what do we do? Sunday shows. Who do they talk to?
Yeah.
The same idiots that haven't been right yet.
Isn't that the way Sunday shows have gone for decades?
At least since I've been alive, yeah. You got the same people who've been on my entire life. I mean, a couple of them have died, but that's about it.
Oh, bring them back if they could.
Tim Russert, of course, passed away, and I liked him. But I mean, David Brinkley was on forever, and who's the guy from the Washington Post?
Yeah.
Broder or Schroeder or somebody, he died too. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's just the same old people all the time, and it's just. I mean, why do we keep? Where's the super spread? I thought the Rangers home opener was the new Super Bowl or Christmas or spring break. And when these people are wrong, I mean, there's no one. Everybody still goes out and wears their little masky poo poo. So they're saving somebody from dying, and it's like, God, do you people not see? I mean, you know what? That's the great thing about the masks. If the people who believe in it just do, and they don't care if it's the truth or not. And, you know what's great too, though? Get outside the Twin Cities a little bit.
Yeah.
I was at a gas station in Isanti today, and I was the only one who walked in there with a mask on. And I immediately just took it, and you know what I can't wait to do? I can't wait to pile 5,000 masks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about lighting something on fire, Target? I'm going to light them on fire in your freaking parking lot. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cook s'mores over there and throw them on your wall. So, yeah. So
I don't know if you want to cook s'mores over a bunch of burning masks that people have been breathing COVID into for the last
I'll get new ones.
2 years.
I'll get new ones.
Yeah. Oh.
I want to see, by the way, the companies that make masks. I want to see the sell-off.
Be like smallpox blankets.
Yeah.
These masks.
Yeah. See the sell-off of those stocks, at some point. So.
Well, I mean, they're all made in China anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Made in the same place that caused this.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. Let's enough of you getting all bent out of shape here.
Oh, we got lots of podcasts left for that.
Your favorite city on the face of the earth, I know, is Minneapolis.
I do love Minneapolis, and it's a choice that I'm trying to make because it will never get better. If I don't love it enough to try and change it. It is the cultural hub of this area, and I'm disgusted by it. And if I don't love it, it doesn't mean I love what goes on there or what comes out of it or even what it looks like or the state it's in. I don't love any of that, but I do try to love the city and respect its position in the region. And we have to have some impact in at least the cities around it in order to affect what goes on in the region.
Well, and it's tough for me. I mean, my mom grew up in Minneapolis. She went to Roosevelt High School, South Minneapolis. I don't know if their house is still there because that's by where the Hiawatha line is now. It's somewhere. That's somewhere by where she grew up. I don't recall where the house was exactly. But Minneapolis a few years ago, Jay, approved a bold plan. This is from our friends at streetblog.org, one of your favorite. They talk very nicely about you.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
And by the way, they have like 9 donate buttons on there if you want to donate.
See, that's the nice thing about this relationship that we have here. Like, we both can sit and spout off every week like this, and you're the one that they hate, and they don't even know I'm alive. How does that work?
I don't get it. Why is that?
Why
doesn't the crap run downhill? I mean, you should be getting it worse than me.
They don't even know I exist.
They know you exist. They just hate me more.
I don't know about that, but
I think they know this. But like I said, streetblog.org, they speak highly of you there, Jay. I've seen it.
Since I'm the one that keeps retweeting them, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but you retweet them with interesting verbiage.
Well, there is that. I kind of...
They must think it's me half the time.
I don't know. Just taunt them when I retweet.
Yeah. Usually I retweet the retweet.
Yes.
But Minneapolis, this article was in December of 2018, and we bring up Minneapolis because St. Paul is becoming a copycat.
Yes.
Monkey see, monkey do. Approved a bold plan, Jay. It was a bold plan that would dramatically increase I love this, one of our favorite terms. And it's not even a word. Is walkability a word?
Yeah, they've made it into a word.
You know what it reminds me of? When I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I can remember my mom telling me this. You know what I used to call Woody Woodpecker?
No.
Waka Paka. I couldn't say it. But it turned out Waka Paka over there. That's what I think when I think of walkability.
You were screwing up names back then.
Yeah, exactly. When I think of walkability. Yeah, but back then everybody's name was Bill or George or Jim or Tom. Wasn't that hard. That. Wasn't Fartin Hussein or somebody. Okay?
What?
Don't you remember Fartin Hussein?
No, I don't.
He's on some Golden Valley commission. I remember Fartin Hussein.
Oh, boy. We'll have to look that one up.
I think it was
episode that was.
Fartun Hussan, I think is what we ended up calling him. Fartun Hussan. So anyway, that's worse than Bong Wang. Wonder what he's up to. Anyway, Bong Wang. I want a Wang on my ballot again.
You know what? We should get him in as a guest on your podcast.
I couldn't look at him with a straight face. It would be
You'd have to introduce him.
it'd be like having Rebecca Knocker on the show. All I could think about is that one episode where we both fell apart.
Oh.
So yeah, Knocker or Necker, but so anyway. So Waka Paka and other hallmarks of urban living by eliminating mandatory parking that has encouraged car ownership for years. So, if I'm thinking this through here, this means what? A business can exist with no parking lot.
Yes.
Now, how do they get deliveries for things? Is that walked to them, or all their products walked over?
Rickshaw, I think.
Oh, okay. Are they like, does like a solar panel drop them into something like that? How can you have no parking at all? You have to get deliveries.
Drone deliveries, and then just parachute it in.
Could be. But anyhow, as part of a larger rezoning that will erase decades of racial discriminatory housing policies, what's that?
Single family housing is racist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that the American dream, kind of?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think black people who get a house and have a yard for their kids, and I think they feel like they've made it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think living in some high density housing with no car and with I don't know that's when was that described? When is good times described as? When's that become making it?
Yeah.
Or even the Jeffersons drove.
Hey, that was moving on up.
Yeah. Well, that was the Jeffersons.
Yep.
Yeah. Where am I? Oh, okay. The plan will eliminate off-street parking minimums throughout the city, a reform that would make Minneapolis the third major city, third in list of knuckleheads, which are a hidden subsidy for drivers, really. So off-street parking is a subsidy. Yeah, they don't pay any gas taxes or, tab. Who wrote this? Angie Schmidt. Well, they don't like to take the Schmidt out of this. A goal of so-called Minneapolis 2040 plan is a housing and transportation policy that reduces emissions by 80% by 2050. To achieve that, the city hopes to reduce the number of miles driven locally by 40%.
Wow.
How about you reduce government spending by 40%? Let's bring that to 1980 levels. Why don't we do that instead? This drives us making every investment that we can on the transportation side to reduce vehicle miles traveled. Robin Hutchinson of the City's Director of Public Works told Streets blog. We want to be able to develop the city and have developers be successful without having to overbuild on parking, which has happened historically in all cities. Overbuild on parking? Where is parking overbuilt?
Yeah, most places it seems like there's not enough.
Yeah, I mean,
well, depending. I mean, you have like some lots of certain stores that don't get super full, except maybe around Christmas. But some of that they infill too. I mean, look at Crystal in recent years.
Yeah.
Like that lot, it was never full with Target and the strip mall, and they put a Taco Bell in there. And
part of that, in my opinion, too, was that there weren't as many businesses there as there had used to be.
Right.
And some of those malls, and also the one across the street where the Noodles and Company is.
Yeah.
Some of those places were empty for quite a while. So that's, to me, kind of a factor as well. But you're right. Now it's packed over there. I mean, you're lucky you don't have a half a mile hike just to Target if you go there. I always park on the side, by the way.
Yeah.
Park on the side. That's the place to go.
I agree.
When you go to the Crystal Target.
Yeah.
Where am I? The elimination of mandatory minimum parking follows similar efforts in Buffalo and Hartford, Connecticut. Is that Buffalo, Connecticut? Buffalo and Hartford, Connecticut?
I would assume Buffalo, New York, but
Okay.
for some reason, Hartford, Connecticut doesn't have enough notoriety.
Yeah, we don't know enough about Hartford.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there a Buffalo, Connecticut?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You're gonna look that up?
Yeah, you look that. I'm going to keep reading this
you do
BS. The Minneapolis plan also calls for the discouraging of construction of surface parking lots and prohibits new gas stations or drive-thrus citywide. Prohibits new gas stations?
Are they crazy? Really?
How's that drive-thrus going? What a good idea that was.
Buffalo, New York there's no Connecticut.
Ha! I was right. I was right.
Yes. They did the ban on, and we had a podcast on that where they banned the new drive-thrus in the city of Minneapolis. And then COVID hit.
Pre-COVID, we did that
and
show.
And all you could do during COVID was hit drive-thrus. And, all of a sudden, any new restaurants that have been built since then, what are they supposed to do? I mean, they could serve takeout, but, but we called that one ahead of time.
But that's also
that was
not
a terrible idea.
Yeah, and it's also not fair. It's not fair to the new places that the old places could do things they can't.
Right.
Parking minimums and parking ramps harm our efforts at achieving the elimination of racial disparities, addressing climate change, and providing affordable housing. Jane Philstrand, a volunteer and co-founder of the advocacy group Neighbors for More Neighbors.
Okay.
So a parking ramp is discriminatory racially. That's funny. The last time I was downtown was probably a Twins game like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that all races parked in the parking ramps, walked through the same places I did, and went out to Target Field.
Yeah.
There were black people, there were Hispanic people, there were Asian people, there were white people.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody pulled in the... I'm not pulling this parking ramp. It's racist. I'm not going to do that.
You skipped over this.
What did I skip over?
Auto-oriented land uses, such as auto repair shops, will no longer be allowed near metro stations.
Where did I miss that?
It was right under, talked about the elimination of mandatory minimum parking. Follows similar efforts in Buffalo and Hartford.
I missed a lot there. Audio-orientated land use.
Yeah.
Huh?
Auto, yeah.
What did I say?
Audio-orientated.
No
radios.
Well, probably not unless they're playing NPR. So you can't have. They're basically they're trying to make. And people actually believe there's no war on cars.
Yeah, they think it's a conspiracy theory.
What's a conspiracy about this? It's
They're
in the city's plan.
I know. They're saying it flat out.
Where the hell am I? The comprehensive plan doesn't make the zoning change official, but the law requires that the city's zoning code match the comprehensive plan. Well, then you are, right?
Well, they have to change the zoning code because now that it's in the comprehensive plan, they got to go back and pass the ordinances to match the plan. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, this is 2018. I'm sure they did.
Probably.
Yeah, I wondered. So it was. Did Blong Wang vote on that then? Wang vote?
I don't think so.
Wang vote to do it?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see which Wang voted which way. But you want to talk about what's worser?
Yes.
Is when you get a horse manure idea.
Yeah.
Guess who picks up on them?
Well,
cities around you.
Yes, that is true. And we know this is true. We had the podcast on 20 is Plenty not too long ago.
Yeah.
Talked about how in Minneapolis they've instituted that. Some other cities around, Brooklyn Park is now, I believe, picked it up because I have seen 20 is plenty signs up in Brooklyn Park.
Why don't we just make it 5 is plenty?
Wow.
8 is enough.
Yes.
Why don't we just put signs on this? Now, Jay, before we get on to St. Paul,
Yeah.
I want to talk about what is, because you'd think, I mean, if somebody tried to, I live in Plymouth, and if somebody came in and tried to eliminate cars in Plymouth, it would never fly.
Right.
But it can be instituted gradually. That's the one thing that in a place like Minneapolis, you can get as radical as you want, and nobody there seems to do anything about it. I think that would be different in a lot of other cities. However, what about the businesses and things like that and the developers? Why would they be for this? Because I believe they are. I don't think that this could happen without the support of developers and businesses. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
You're going to have to get their buy-in to this too. Mm-hmm. You're just going to have to. You can't just go, okay, we're not going to allow parking lots and just go to businesses and, I mean, there's no way that kind of a change can be made because you have to have somebody fill in these places.
Yes.
Somebody has to want to. Somebody has to think they can make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that going to be accomplished? Because I think that the developers, the local businesses in particular, and the government are all in on this together.
Yes, they are.
I don't think this change would be made unless they thought somebody would develop and they thought somebody would go in there. Because at some point, somebody has to go in there and make money.
I don't know how they fill this up unless they fill it up with people that, I mean, they're really looking for affordable housing where people are reliant on transit. And already, people are not going to give up their cars to move into a place like this. It won't happen. People with cars will not decide to shop in areas like this.
They can't.
No, they can't. So I'm trying to get a sense from this. So getting rid of parking lots, is that just for commercial properties or is that also for rental properties?
Also for rental properties.
That's in
St.
the way
Paul.
it reads.
In St. Paul, that's what they're talking about.
So if you're going to have an apartment at one of these places, you can't ever have a visitor.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, no Christmas party at my place.
And what about people that work for DoorDash, Uber, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, delivering packages? They've got to have a place to park to be able to deliver.
Park on the street.
But what about bike lanes? They've made that impossible too.
Figure it out.
And then you park in the bike lane, and
there'll be a big basket there to drive by and throw like Charlie Bucket throwing the I watched Willy Wonka the other day. Throwing newspapers somewhere. I mean, That's what it's going to be. There's got to be a central place for people to gather, and that's where they'll pick up. That's where they'll pick up their new underwear or whatever they got from Amazon or their Zoloft or whatever they get through the whatever. I mean, that's what'll happen. But here's my thing: if you are a builder of a place, why in God's name would you want to build an apartment complex with no parking at all?
Yeah, you wouldn't. Although,
unless you are doing it for practically nothing.
Well, and I wonder, in the Minneapolis article, it talked about surface level parking. Does that mean that they're still allowing underground parking?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
Or if they do, that's always very limited, though, too. There's never enough for everybody.
Well, and there's certainly not enough for people to come and visit.
There's never.
How do you move in and out? How about that? How do you move in and out if there's no parking lot?
You're stuck.
Park on the street and freaking unload your dresser or something there. I mean, say you got a U-Haul truck. Where are you supposed to put it?
Right.
I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm sitting here trying to picture myself owning like an apartment complex and trying to rent it out to somebody and say, yeah, one of the benefits of being here is you're not allowed to have a vehicle. And keep in mind,
there's freedom from car payments. Think about it.
And it also breeds the local businesses around there, because this is where it can really screw these people who are living at these places.
Yeah.
Because say I'm a local business, say I'm the grocery store down the street, and maybe I'm not a big chain, but I make a living there. I'm the organic guy or something. I can charge whatever I want for groceries.
Yeah.
These people don't have a choice of where to go.
Right.
They can't go to Hy-Vee or Cub or Walmart or Target or wherever. No, they can't go. They don't have a vehicle. They're not going to get on a bus and haul 8 bags of groceries. I don't care what the transit people say.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. I've never seen anybody load a family of 4's groceries into public transit. I've never seen that.
No, I've never seen it either. Even like if somebody's pulling a cart, it's a couple of bags is all you're able to
and
get.
you're not walking half a mile.
No.
Okay, so the idea that all of these local places around there can gouge the hell out of these people, because these people have, whoever they are, have nowhere else to go. They have nowhere else to work. They have no way to increase their wages. They have no way to move up, because if you move up, guess what? You're going to need a car. You got to move.
That's right.
Hey, I got a great job opportunity at blah, blah, blah company. I can't get there.
Right.
Well, okay. The bus don't go by there. I mean, it could happen. Or it only goes at, how many times, too, when you hire somebody, you got transportation.
Right.
To get here. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What if I need you?
That's going to be a job killer. I have nowhere to park.
I got nowhere to park. I can't have a vehicle. You're working at I guess you're not working at the gas station, because that's not there either.
Right.
You're working at the organic plant place, or the place that sells marijuana products. That's your life. But don't worry, Jay. You are protecting the environment from climate change. Just remember that.
Right.
There's always a silver lining.
Oh,
Always the rich and powerful get to do what they want. And you peons, you go save the environment.
Right.
We make all the money that we want, fly around our private jets. Nobody can touch us.
Right.
They're beyond borders, beyond anything else.
Yeah.
The great Bill Gates, who gives all his money to his foundation as a tax write-off, hires his kids and his wife to run it, pays all them $1 million salaries.
Right.
The guy doesn't pay a nickel.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about an FU. God, that guy's a scumbag. He's just a scumbag.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, well, it's just...
But yeah, I mean, it is. It's a scam. I mean, get out of your combustion engine cars, get an electric car, and then plug that electric car right into the local coal power plant. Because the trade off there is amazing.
Yeah, do electric cars? How well do they work in super cold weather too?
Yeah, I don't know.
So you have to think about electricity and how it saps things. Like you think about your car battery,
right?
Something like that can just sap things with cold temperatures. Hey, look, you know what? If somebody wants to buy an electric car, I have no issue with it.
No, if you choose that, that's great.
I just have an issue with we've spent 50 years subsidizing them and they still suck. I mean, look, if they were, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If electric cars can compete with gas-powered cars on an even playing field, and the public can pick what they want to pick, I got no issue with it whatsoever.
Right.
Just don't push your product on me.
Right.
That I don't want, and I don't want it.
Well, and if they could compete, they wouldn't be trying to force sellers to take on a certain proportion of electric cars. They wouldn't be getting rid of parking if
exactly.
If they wanted to make room for electric cars.
Why don't they have the charging stations there?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? If they do that in St. Louis Park, you build a new parking lot, you're putting in electric car charging stations. Or if you're redoing
what you should
an
do,
existing
though?
parking lot, what?
Here's what you should do in St. Louis Park. Just put a fake one up there because nobody will use it.
Right.
Put like a paper one up there.
Run an extension cord out and hang it over a side.
Or throw it over a telephone pole. You can use this.
Yeah.
Extension cord. Put a phony generator out there or something. I mean, nobody's going to use it. Like I say, there's that quick trip I go to a lot on Highway 10.
Yeah.
And they have an electric, and sometimes I park in front of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to worry. I'll just go run in. Nobody's going to come out here. And I've seen one vehicle in it.
Yeah.
And it was a vehicle from Anoka County.
Yeah.
It was an Anoka County vehicle. But I have never seen, and look, I'm not saying it's never happened, but I've been there at all hours of the day, in the morning, during lunch, in the evening, at night, and I have never seen a vehicle there charging once.
I've seen one at the Hy-Vee out in Maple Grove.
Really? All the
One.
driving around you do? I mean, that's, yeah, but I mean, I don't see any.
Yeah.
And I, you know what? Like I said, I got no problem with it. But to require that, look, here's the thing. If there's demand for something, the government doesn't need to require it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's a demand for toasters, the government doesn't need to come out and make them.
Right.
Somebody will do it because there's a profit to be made.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with electric car stations. If are people calling Hennepin County or calling St. Louis Park and saying, hey, we don't have any place to charge your car in this city. We need more.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, there's probably the three people that own them that are doing that.
I want to see what Jake Spano drives.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. When I see him,
Yeah.
you know, hubbing down what's an electric car? What the Volt?
The
is
Tesla.
that Tesla? Okay.
Yeah.
When I see him in his Tesla,
Yeah.
then I'll believe this is real.
Right.
But I bet he drives like a big Suburban or something.
Right.
He's so important.
Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, he's so important. Or I'm sure he drives something new.
Right.
But I bet that
Land Rover.
Yeah, he probably drives a Hummer. Probably. Wouldn't that be something to get? You know what we ought to do? We ought to get. I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but we ought to get his address, and I want to go over there and I want to take pictures of what he drives.
Yeah.
See his ugly face driving away, and we'll snap pictures. Just go right out in front, snap a big grins on our faces, and snap these photos of him driving in his Hummer. You know what we should do? What we should do is get a Hummer from somewhere, park it in his driveway, leave the keys in it. So that when he goes to move it, we'll snap a picture of him. How's that sound?
Yeah, baby.
I'm full of good ideas. I'm just full of good ideas. But now let me just say this. The developers, though, let me go back to them.
Yeah.
I don't get how somebody could think they could rent out 30 or 40 units. Sorry, I just like saying units. 30 or 40 units of people who cannot, will not drive a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Are these refugees? I mean, who's going to live there?
That could be. But yeah, even a lot of them can get
Not
driver's
forever,
license,
though. They got to work at some point. Their kids got to go to school. You know?
Absolutely. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical.
I'm not either.
There are a lot of refugees that come over here, and a lot of them like pick up driving a taxi or doing Uber or something like that.
Bus driving too.
How are you going to bring your vehicle?
How do you learn to drive? How do you learn to drive?
Yeah.
And let me say this too. I know somebody in particular who was a refugee, and they, of course, went to school, got their diploma, went on, did a career. Now, of course, they drive, and they move up in the world too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they don't just sit in their
That's
car.
why they like to come here.
Yeah, they don't just sit in their car-free living and live 80 years just sitting there, going to the same 4 stores.
Right.
They move up in the world too. They attain skills and get education, and
they should.
Yeah, just like the rest of us. So the idea that it's just a weird thing to build a business. I mean, you think of being. Here's the thing. Think of being a business and having nobody who can drive to your establishment. Nobody from anywhere who can.
Right.
I mean, you talk about limiting. I mean, businesses have a hard enough time succeeding. Most don't.
Yeah.
So now you've taken the 85 or 90% of us, and I'm excluding, seniors who are 90 years old and can't see anymore.
Right.
Or and I'm excluding people under 16. You're taking a huge percentage of people. And I can't understand a business's thinking on that. I mean, even if you can screw around with the people who live there, no business can survive on just people who walk to a business or skateboard or rollerblade or somersault or whatever to get to the business. No business can survive on that.
Right.
So how is that going to work? How's this car free? How is that? I mean, universal basic income? I mean, what are we moving to that this can succeed? And here's the thing. Once government builds this, they can't afford to have this fail.
Right. I mean, you're not going to go back and infill with a bunch of parking lots.
Yeah,
Once
exactly.
you've done it, it's done.
Once you've made cars illegal, they're not going to come back.
No.
So how if this fails, this is going to get bailout after bailout. They're all going to become wards of the state.
Right.
What if the apartment building goes under?
Well,
Or they can't get enough people to rent, or
that's when they turn to Section 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
Well, that'll make the neighborhood even better, won't it?
Oh yes.
Just Section 8, that's just there's no problems with that in Minneapolis or St. Paul. But for St. Paul to follow suit, I mean, God, you know what? I'll tell you what. Minneapolis and St. Paul wouldn't know a good idea if it hit him on the head and bit him on the ass at the same time. I mean, it's like a race between the two cities to see who can be more wacky.
Right.
Think of like the Price is Right game, doodly-doo, where they're going up it's like they're side by side.
Right.
One's going a little further, and pretty soon they're going to plinko off the side. I just think of the minor guy, doodly-doo, going up like, God, how much further can you go? But do you think like, I mean, I know stuff like this bleeds out to the Dinas and the St. Louis Parks
Absolutely.
of the
it
world.
does.
I mean, you're gonna see we kind of have it in some of those cities are very close to this, in my opinion.
Of course. I mean, when you have woke city councils like in Golden Valley and Edina, and they're gonna
Golden Valley's woke. I had no idea.
really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I thought Jillian Rosenquist was middle of the road over there. I know she reads us on Twitter.
Yeah.
How you doing? I mean, we're talking about you again. The rest of that council with Boy Wonder there. But I got to tell you what, when Shep Harris seems like the least dangerous of a group, and he probably is,
Yeah.
that's where you really go, holy cow.
Right.
I mean, I thought that council was bad back when Mike Freiberg was on it.
Yeah.
They've been replaced by people that are way out there.
Yes.
So, yeah, but you go driving through some places of St. Louis Park, man, I can't take my truck over there.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible. I can remember there was a Xfinity or
Yes,
Comcast.
over by Wolf Park on the east side of 100.
Yeah, and
Excelsior.
I can remember my wife and I couldn't find the one in Ridgedale is always busy, and the one in Brooklyn Park is no closer than St. Louis Park does in Plymouth. We went down there, and I'm telling you, I could barely park my truck. And I'm just like, we can't take this thing down here again.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just, we had to go get a new box or something, and I didn't want to schedule anything. I just wanted to go get it.
Right.
And it's like, holy cow.
Yeah,
how
I've
does an
gone into that one, too.
Xfinity van get in there?
They have a handful of parking spots right out in front of the store, but that's it.
Yeah, they got 3. Okay,
Yeah.
You walk in there and 12 customers are in there. I mean, you're not going to have too many people being able to park there. That's
Right.
So you're already seeing it. But I'll tell you what, I think these are like little mini cities
Yeah.
that are going to be created. They're already being created everywhere, but it's more. It's never been so bold, so blatant. I mean, Jay, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, when you and I were just kind of starting this stuff, stuff wasn't written necessarily publicly like that.
No.
There wouldn't be this bold statement that we want to get you out of your car. They would hint at it. They would, we're going to help the environment. Gas is $4 a gallon and we're going to, they would come out and say what they're saying. I think when I was in Orr, Minnesota, and I saw car-free living in a place where your neighbor is 10 miles away, I think that pushed me over the edge. I was like, wow, it really is. We really are telling the truth. I wasn't sure until that point. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's that
I was
bad.
pretty sure, but yeah, it amazes you because you feel almost guilty sometimes. Like, I want to be honest. I want to tell people exactly the way it is. No worse, no better. But I want to give them the down-to-earth explanation, the nitty-gritty. This is what it is. And sometimes you feel bad, like almost, I don't know if I can say that because, I mean, it doesn't sound believable. It sounds, but it's the truth. Sometimes you can't make it sound bad enough.
Well, and here's the thing, too. People who think the war on cars is a conspiracy, read Minneapolis and St. Paul's comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
They literally say they want to reduce cars, reduce vehicle miles traveled. Mm-hmm. The Met Council says it. So they want to reduce cars on the road. What are you telling me that that's not true?
Right.
How can you not believe it? How?
Yeah. Minneapolis, I don't think it's followed through on it, but I know they were looking at some things that they were doing, like out in Seattle and such, where they were going to restrict cars from using certain roads at certain times of the day, where it was like a no-go zone for cars.
What's the genesis behind that?
Yeah.
Does the cars burn more gas? Is it like COVID, where it doesn't come out till 11 p.m. or something?
Yeah, I mean, just because they chose a different route to get to work, does that mean they didn't burn the emissions?
Hey, and sometimes doing that can backfire. If I've got to go around, that's actually, tell you what, Seattle and Portland, why does anybody look at what they're doing?
Yeah, those cities are nuts.
See, really, New York is more conservative than Seattle and Portland.
Well,
San Francisco might be more conservative than Portland. I'm just throwing it out there. It could be.
Yeah.
They're certainly, Seattle and Portland certainly aren't any better. And you know what? What sucks?
Yeah.
Seattle's a great town. I think it's a great place.
I've never been there.
I've been there once. I thought it was a cool place. I mean, New York was a dump. Yeah. But, I mean, Denver's a cool place. And they've gone wokey.
Yep.
But I thought Colorado was awesome. I thought it was an awesome place. And they've gone just as goofy. Mm-hmm. What's with their goofiness?
It's like a race to the bottom.
It's the Price is Right. People going the other way. You lead you. It's like you. You're going right off the end.
I love that sound.
Bob Barker's still around? Is he still alive?
No, that's a good question.
Drew Carey's hosted that show for quite a number of years now.
Yeah.
Maybe 12 or so.
Wow, it's been that long already.
Yeah, I think it was like 2009 or something that Bob is still around, 97 years young.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
2007, Drew Carey has hosted The Price is Right since. So 14 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So quite a long, long time. I think he's really good at it. I don't get to watch it like I used to, but...
he is good.
I think he's really good. So I always liked it.
Trouble is, when you go out there to be part of the audience, they don't allow for parking anymore. So,
you know what's disappointing is I have heard that people are tipped as to whether they're going to be contestants. Like if you've got a group, say you've got a group of like 10 people, like a bowling team, they're all wearing the same shirt. Yeah. Notice how 4 of them never get called. There's only one.
Right.
And it's like, okay, out of your team, one of you will be called to go up there. They may not know who, but I have heard that's, it's like, why is it that they always get equal number of men and women? Right. They always get.
They never find somebody who's like void of personality.
Yeah, or like it's never all from like one side of the room. Like if it was really random, you would have that happen once in a while. But at the very beginning, it's one person here, one person here, one person. The camera's already there. They already know who it's just kind of. I was always hoping it was never like that, but it sort of is. Yeah. I can remember one old guy got called, went down there, ran up to Bob Barker, and shook his hand, and then stood there. And Bob's like, "Okay, buddy, you still have to go down there and win. You don't get to come up here right away." They had to like escort him off the stage because he ran right up to him. Poor old guy was the nicest guy and really wanted to meet. Bob, I'm a big fan. Then he just stands there. And Bob's like, okay, you got to go back down. That was great. But that means, you just think, now that means Bob Barker hosted that till he was 84 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, Alex Trebek, he did Jeopardy till the day he died.
Yeah, he did.
So, incredible. That's just... It's a long time to do anything. I know it's fun, but you got to retire at some point.
It's kind of like this show. We'll do it to the day we die, probably because it will put us in the grave.
I don't know about that. Maybe you will.
This show will put me in the grave the way things are going. I give it 2 years.
You better not.
No.
Am I the beneficiary of the contract you signed?
Yes. You'll have to do both parts.
Oh, my goodness. I got to think of the songs then when
you'll have to think of the songs. You'll have to have conversations with yourself, interrupt yourself. It'll be great.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I just can't. And that's the thing. That's the thing about, the other show that we're doing now. It's just I like having I can't do a monologue. I just think that's boring radio. That's just me. But if I was just sitting here talking for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pull a Rush Limbaugh or somebody like that. I just find even somebody like Rush, after an hour or two, be like, okay, I would just kind of, I've had it for the day. I'm just one that I think it's boring radio if it's always one person.
Right.
I just think that there has to be, like you and I have a guest once in a while, but most of the time it's just you and I. And I can't imagine sitting here reading Streets Blog and telling jokes and then laughing at my own jokes and I'm the only one laughing. I just can't imagine just doing that. It just wouldn't work. I ain't that funny anyway. So, it just it wouldn't work without the back. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think it would work if it was just one person. Maybe I get tired of somebody's voice or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
Well, anyway, Jay, it's that time again. Oh, and by the way, if you want to read these articles, Streets Blog, where else did we get these articles from?
There's one or two from the Star Trib, which you can't get to unless you feel like paying them.
Yeah, so we picked up the highlights from other places.
Yes.
That's the great thing about the Trib.
Yeah,
they love advertising for others because when they won't let me see an article, I just go around them to somebody who does.
Right.
So they're really, really doing the job there. But it's that time again, folks. Community Solutions once again presents the master of disaster, the king of sting, the Rick of Flair, the Roddy of Piper, the Suffering of Succotash, the one, the only, the women love him, the men want to be him. Jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. With your sign-off sermon, SOS, we present Jason Bradley.
Thank you, Andrew. Freedom is the bedrock cornerstone of this nation. Being able to be free in your person, to pursue happiness, to have a life, to have liberty. But we have a group of politicians and businesses now that want to curb that liberty, They want to be able to be in control. They want to be able to treat you as their personal target market because they think that they can sell you, that they control you, that they can own you. So what do? They do things like get rid of parking lots and try to force you onto mass transit. They try to force you into doing certain things for a living or going certain places. And it's messy. But I think about what these companies are doing, what these local governments are doing. And the important part of this is that we are able to maintain our freedom. Now, granted, we don't want to be putting plumes of black smoke into the sky. We want clean air. We want clean water. We want our roadways to be clean. But I just think that there is a better way rather than constricting things and shutting things down. And I think that way is for government to get out of the way. I think for that way is for business to get out of the way. Think about how you want to sell your product or whatever, but just stop getting involved with politics and then forcing it on people. You're not elected. There's no way for us to replace you if we don't like what you do. Well, that's antithetical to the whole American experiment because we wanted to be able to take taxation with representation. That whoever was taking stuff from us, that we had a voice to be able to come against them and get them pulled out of office. But we don't have that anymore. And it's difficult. It's difficult because we have to reconcile the cost between comfort and freedom. And it's something that is hard to do, and we don't want to do it. A lot of times we don't want to take the time to build something in the hopes that what we build is going to be successful and stand the test of time in the face of all of these laws and government regulations and businesses that jack up prices on things. And I don't know. I don't want that for me. I don't want that for my kids. For the business that I run, I want success in that. But to think that the government is going to tell me, well, I can't do something where I have visitors. I can't bring people to the house, or I can't. I mean, it's utter nonsense. Because it's all about freedom. So what do we do? How do we figure this out? Because let me tell you, we're not going to convince them to start using nuclear power anytime soon. That would be a clean way to get all of the electricity we need, but it's not going to happen. Instead, I think that we just maybe sometimes we don't know what to do. And if that's the case, we don't know what to do, maybe sometimes we just quit it. And that's unfortunate, because oftentimes we quit too soon. They say that the night is darkest right before the dawn. And you got to keep on pressing forward, because if you don't keep on pressing forward, you are not going to have everything that you need to be able to take this on when it comes to your doorstep. We have to stay vigilant. We have to stay vigilant. You see, we've got a job to do here, guys. And it's not to indulge so much in the excesses of this life that we forget we have another voice. We have a responsibility to our neighbors, to our family, to our community at large. So I think that it's important. I think it's important that we take stock of our lives, that we try to say, are our lives moving any further towards liberty, or are they moving closer to that self-centered idea? We have to know where we fit in. We have to know what we're worth. And we can't ever let go of that. So who's going to join us in our fight to be able to take this to the streets? I hope it's you. I hope that it's you, because we can't do it. We can't afford to, take. This could be a lifelong thing for us. What we're doing, trying to find people to step into these positions, and we want to make sure that we give people the best fighting chance to be able to overcome and to win. So, what you gonna do? We're here, and we need you. One thing you can do is get a hold of us at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That is commsolutionsmn@gmail.com, because we want to be able to begin a relationship with you guys that would take us all to the next level. We need to plan, and we need to be willing to move forward no matter how much fear we feel. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's overcoming it. And we need courageous people that are willing to stand up and do the right thing. We're so thankful. We live in a land where we're able to still do this, still able to podcast to you and talk about these things, still able to redress our government for grievances, still able, for the most part, to get together with who we want when we want, including friends and family, and no matter what the government says, and they've tried to take some of that away, and we've got to band together, and we've just got to say no. This is not science. This doesn't follow the science. We're so thankful for you, our listeners. We watch every week. We watch, what you guys say, what you guys email us, which, by the way, is at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. And we are not done fighting, and we're not anywhere near done fighting, and we know that there is a large amount of work left to do. But we can all do this if we want to. We can do it. And I know for a fact that we will. So think about it for another week. Pass this around to people you know, and think about what skills you have that you just might be able to make things improve in your little corner of the world. I know you can do it. All you got to do is get a hold of us, and we'd love to help. All right. Well, you've got your assignment. And we're going to start a movement here. We're going to assemble, and we're going to see things change. I know it. Things are going to change. Well, guys, we love you, Minnesota. But now it's your turn to get to work.
too caught up